Hello, podcast listeners and people of the interwebs, people out there. Welcome back to the Pluto is a Planet podcast. Today, not only am I joined by Artie and Alistair, we also have another guest.
Hello. Yeah.
His name is Hello.
That's how we go.
So, I'm here with Ben, Artie and Alistair. We'll just jump straight into the news, so Artie, you're up first.
So, the Star Wars news of the day is that Kathleen Kennedy blames Rian Johnson for how much Star Wars sucks. But she still wants him to work on her all-female Star Wars TV show that should be coming out at some point next year. So the discussion point here is Rian Johnson the entire problem with Star Wars?
Ooh.
Yes, but actually no. Because if he hadn't screwed up The Last Jedi so badly, then we wouldn't be in the position we were for The Rise of Skywalker, which led to that dumpster fire. So, yeah, I could say he's a very, very big part of the reason Star Wars is not great.
Star Wars has sucked ever since Episode 7. Apart from Mandalorian.
Alistair,
Apart from Mandalorian.
you absolutely loved Episode 9 when you first watched it.
And I've explained why in the last episode.
Yeah, but you can't say it sucked since then if you haven't disliked it since then.
The only reason why I liked it was because of the thrill of the moment and how good it looked. But we discussed this in last week's episode that you should definitely
Alistair, is Episode 7 a good film?
Episode 7, no.
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh.
Ben, what did you think of Episode 9 when you saw it? The cinema?
Forget which one this is.
The final one. The one that triggered me to the nth degree.
Oh, yeah.
That's all of them, Joe.
I'd say average at best.
Yeah. Did you think any of the character arcs were satisfactory or just all mediocre?
Mediocre, to be honest.
Fair enough. It really wasn't great.
I'm just going to say that in order, my favourites were probably 7, 9, then 8.
I'd probably agree with you.
Yeah.
I might even put 8 above 9.
The thing is, 8 and 9 are kind of tied because they are both just
awful.
They're both terrible.
Sacrificing
9, the problem, going back to the original thing, the problem was Rian Johnson, because the fact that you kill Luke Skywalker, giving him only like 30 minutes screen time, is just should be illegal.
No, but he was.
I don't mind that. My main problem with it is just the way he throws the lightsaber over his shoulder. It just makes me want to remove my teeth.
But you see, that's a subversion of expectation. Absolutely class writing, isn't it?
He could have felt connected with it, but he didn't.
That was a quote of the year.
Over a hill. That was it.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we should probably move on because we're now just rambling about Star Wars.
Less of a discussion, more of just kind of a news flash.
Fair enough.
I'm very big into D&D, and because obviously with everything that's going on at the minute, not everybody can carry on their games. So basically, a really good way to carry on your games, if you're at home, if you want to try and do them over online, is to use Roll20, which is what me and Joe and Artie used once.
attempted to use.
When are we going to do it again?
With Artie leaving halfway because he couldn't be bothered.
We will do it again soon. It is actually really easy to use once we get the hang of it. It did take us an hour to get like 5 people on a call, but you know.
That's just us. I'm sure everyone else would be.
They just heard Artie and ran away.
But yeah, other than that, Wizards of the Coast, who are the people who kind of write all the material for Dungeons and Dragons, like the rule books and everything, they're releasing weekly material that's new online. So again, if you're looking for anything to do, that's a really good place just to kind of look.
This is probably a very newbie question, but have they been were they like the originators of the game, that company, and have they kept it running, or has it just varied from platform to platform?
No, from what I know, again, I'm not going to claim to be an expert here, but from what I know, they are the people who it kind of all originated from. They're definitely the kind of front runners for the modern game anyway.
I can just
That's actually quite
see
interesting.
all of the D&D fans coming in the comments just, this is not right.
Yeah,
All one of
All
them.
one of them just starts up a riot.
Right, so Ben, is that all? Should we move on?
That's pretty much all I've got for this week. Yeah.
Sick one, fam. So, Alistair.
Right, I will be discussing not Star Wars this week. I will be discussing something a little bit different. I'm going to be discussing about the Xbox Series X and the PS5 because it's quite exciting to see because new articles have been released that the PS5 could be crushed by the Xbox Series X on price. Even though that they're saying that the Xbox Series X is more powerful, which is really surprising. And that
So hang on, so the Xbox Series X would be cheaper than the worst console.
yeah, it's
Oof.
really surprising to hear. But Xbox have got
This is speculation because although Xbox has released loads, PS5 has not released much at all.
Yeah, they've released their controller that got a lot of hate for it because it looks like a PS5 and an Xbox controller combined.
The hybrid.
Yeah, but we haven't really seen much design for the PS5. When the Xbox have been released, we know what it's going to look like. We're seeing the new controller.
Does the Xbox just look like a normal Xbox?
It's like
no.
It's like a mini fridge. Think about it.
Oh, is it the one that's standing up?
Yes, it looks like a gaming PC. Some people don't like it, but I do.
I love it.
I think it looks really cool, and especially on top, it's got like green mesh on it that glows. I personally think that looks awesome.
Yeah.
But the Xbox have claimed to have a new custom chip in it that's never been used before. That's meant to make it more powerful than the PS5. But as you know, it's all speculations. It's all about...
How reliable would you say these rumours actually are?
Not very.
You say that, I think it is, because Xbox have released this new information about the chip that they're developing.
And it's not a rumour.
And even in the beta version, it's meant to be more powerful. No, it's meant to be 10 times more powerful than the Xbox Series X.
Ooh.
And the Xbox Series X is the most powerful console out there at the minute. And that's more powerful than the PS4 Pro. But I've got to say, I think there's more fans of the PS4 than the Xbox.
Yeah, that is the big question, Xbox or PS4.
I personally am stopping. I really want to go and get a gaming PC because I feel like that's the best way for me to go.
PS4.
RT, of course, the PS4.
Ben, what about you?
I'm going to have to back up. As much as I hate to admit it, I am going to have to back Artie on this one. I'm more of a PlayStation man myself.
Controversial. I'm going to go with the Wii U, the best console of all time. Everyone's favourite.
All right, Grandma.
It's literally the biggest flop in any...
Get off my lawn.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see this battle because we've always seen, especially with... PS has always beaten Xbox in sales, apart from the Xbox 360. But everyone knows that the Xbox 360 had a load of faults on it, and they released it way too quickly. But eventually, when they did get it, the Xbox 360 was much better than the PS3. But when it came in the end, the PS4 was much better than the Xbox One. But they were very, very similar. But it's going to be very, very, very interesting to see what's going to happen this holiday when they both come out.
Yeah, shall we move on to Joe's news then?
Yes.
Yeah, so Doctor Who once again, because what else are you going to expect from me? The upcoming festive special, we don't actually know whether it will be Christmas or New Year, but it is said that Captain Jack Harkness, it's almost confirmed because we've seen leaked things. Captain Jack is probably coming back for the Christmas episode, and possibly Davros, and it could be set in a somewhat Dalek civil war. What are your thoughts on this? Is that a good idea? Should you hold back? Is Chibnall referencing too many things? Yeah.
If Davros comes back, it has to be better than The Magician's Apprentice, because that was the worst Doctor Who episodes ever.
No, it's not the worst. It's terrible.
It is.
Not the worst.
It's properly the worst.
The only thing that redeems it is Peter Capaldi's coat. But apart from that, everything else is no.
I haven't got much to say on it, but I would like to see a
Are you
Dalek.
fans of John Barrowman's Captain Jack, or indifferent?
I like him.
It's cool.
Yeah. And Ben, do you have the slightest idea what we're talking about?
I mean, you're saying Captain Jack, and all I can think about is Captain Jack Sparrow.
Close.
Why
enough,
is the rum
probably.
always gone?
What was that?
In case you haven't realised, we've actually got him here on the podcast.
I can put that in the title now. Extra views, starring Jonny Depp. It was Jonny Depp, wasn't it?
Johnny,
Yeah.
how's your drug addiction going? And your
I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt.
Oh god.
Anyway, back to the topic at hand. A Dalek civil war. Is that a good idea? Jonny Depp,
Yes, Mr.
what are
Gibbs.
your thoughts?
Perfectly splendiferous, Mr. Gibbs.
I'm going to go out of
Oh
my
dear.
way to go and edit Artie's face onto Johnny Depp's Prince of the Caribbean costume.
Please do. That is on screen right now. You probably all want to end your lives after seeing that, but you know, what can you do apart from kick Artie off the podcast? Drop in the comments. Anyway, moving on to the paranormal segment. Here we go. Ben, last time we discussed existence of ghosts, spirits, whatever. What are your opinions on that? Do you think they're real in any way, shape, or form?
Ghosts and spirits.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of my
That's a fair viewpoint. That's about where I am.
Yeah, I sit in the
Artie and
middle.
Alistair are sure not.
There are some stories that just are like, well, no, that's obviously not true. It's just some delusional drug addict that thinks so.
Like Artie.
Much like Johnny Depp, who we've got. I mean, I'm quite into that kind of thing. So I mean,
Yeah.
part of me is like, well, no, obviously it's not real. But then part of me kind of is like, well, maybe I'll just believe it just to make myself happy.
Yeah. See, that's a really interesting thing. Also, seeing as you're a guest on the podcast, I think we could ask every guest this. You're the first guest, so let's set a trend. What do you have a favourite ghost story or paranormal anything that you'd like to talk about or discuss?
It's not a favourite ghost story, but it's a thing that my nan told me actually.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't know how. Like,
Can I just preface this
Is your
with
auntie gonna come out
Artie?
by any chance?
Don't be offensive and attack him. Carry on, Ben.
I don't know. Well, obviously it's not true, but I don't know like how many people believe this or not. But apparently, when you've got the lights on, if they flicker, that means that the ghost of a loved one is in the room.
Ooh.
Yeah. See, it's ideas like that which I always find really interesting because it's like it's clearly developed from a human need to have some form of afterlife because people don't want to die.
Yeah.
Does that mean if you have really reliable electricity that you haven't loved anyone?
I just
Well,
would have thought someone loves you that much,
Yeah.
they need to remind you
Never
when to
loved
change a
anybody.
bulb.
Other forms of ghost. Come on, we've got to prolong this section. Someone. Content.
Well, I once heard a story
Oh god, here we go.
about some diggers in a building. So,
Are these people who are diggers, or are they diggers?
no,
Okay,
right.
Basically, what Artie's alluding to, and Artie can't accept because anything.
I'm going to tell this story. I'm going to tell this story,
I'll
broski.
correct the story.
Right.
Oh,
So once upon a time, a wise old sage was sat in his work office after hours, the last man in the building. He was alone. But suddenly, he heard noises going on upstairs. This was peculiar because no one was supposed to be upstairs. He heard the diggers. So we went upstairs, but they were all stationary.
what the diggers upstairs?
And when he went downstairs, he heard them again. So then he ran out the building, locked it up, and probably left a bunch of robbers in there with some diggers.
Artie, did this happen to you?
No, I'll correct this. Basically, Artie's memory is horrendous, or he likes exaggerating, or a bit of both. My granddad used to work in this like caster manufacturing place, and there was some form of heavy machinery, metal, whatever, upstairs. He could hear it. He was the only one left in the building, and he could hear them moving. There was literally no one else there. So he was like, what the hell? Carried on working. He could hear them again. So he got out the building, locked it up, and left. It's not that interesting, really, but Artie seems to be fascinated by it.
But that's because every time we've had this discussion before, your granddad's brought up the digger story as if it's ironclad proof.
Okay, tell me what else it was, because I don't think robbers were just having fun playing up there if they were
the
robbers.
air conditioning.
I was going to say, like, if it was robbers, was anything actually stolen?
No.
Well, there you go then. So it can't have been robbers then.
Robbers don't just come in and play with machinery.
Maybe the robbers came in to steal the heavy machinery, but then when they saw your granddad leaving, running,
he locked the building. He locked the building that had been locked inside.
Well, they snuck out the window.
When they saw your granddad leaving, Joe, and they were completely in the clear, that was when they thought, you know what?
No, they thought he was a witness, so they snuck out the window.
He didn't see them. What?
They thought he did.
Yeah, but if he did...
Why else would a man be running away from a building?
A bunch of 70-year-old people in prison listen to this podcast were like, I know I should have stolen those. I knew they couldn't see me.
If you know who stole those diggers, can you please put in the comments?
Yeah, who stole the diggers that weren't actually stolen? We would love to know.
What are they
weren't
diggers?
Actually diggers.
Oh. Maybe they stole a spanner or something.
What? A whole team of people went in, started riding around on what are probably not diggers, and then stole a spanner.
Yeah.
Can Jonny Depp answer our question?
Yeah.
Sorry, let me go and get him.
Hello.
Deppaz.
Jonny, you there?
Yes.
Right. Have you got any words of wisdom for us, Jonny?
Yo ho, me hearties, yo ho.
Oh my God.
I don't know what's scarier, the ghost stories or Artie's impression of Jonny Depp.
I am not Artie, I'm Jonny Depp.
This is what Artie's going to sound like when he's drunk.
Okay, so let's move on to the film review section.
Artie, you have such a good opportunity for a segue. Speaking of ghosts and an afterlife.
Afterlife. Afterlife is a lovely Ricky Gervais serial that has 6 episodes per series. Recently, series 2 has come onto Netflix, and I can tell you, it's a whopper. So, what do we all think of Afterlife?
Have we all just been transported to the afterlife?
That was just some deadly silence right there.
No, I think Afterlife is quite good. The comedy in it is very, very good, but some of the lines feel like it's almost like Leia's inclusion in Star Wars. They're just sort of forced in there so that Ricky Gervais can make a comedic political stab. Yeah. But apart from that, I think it's really good.
So far, I've preferred season 1 over season 2. But I need to finish.
Yeah.
Season 2 is sort of like the unwanted brother that just accidentally happened afterwards. Yeah. Like it's not
like
all
Artie.
Bad, but
Can we get John's opinion on this, please?
Can we swap Will for you, Artie?
Yo ho, me hearties, yo ho.
Ben, what did you think of Afterlife 2 and 1, whichever?
Pretty much the same as Alistair, to be honest. I think season 1 is much better than season 2. Just because season 2 is basically just the same thing, he's just slightly less depressed.
Yeah. It's somehow
The problem is, the whole point in season 1 is that he's mean to everyone, and then in season 2 he just starts being nice, and it's like, that's not why I'm watching.
Yeah. It's unlike
It was never
lots of
really
Ricky
set up to
Gervais's
continue.
other... Yeah, unlike his other shows, it doesn't need a second series. Like, if you've watched Extras or whatever, they sort of desperately needed a conclusion, whereas Afterlife had a conclusion, and then it's just sort of...
I would quite like to see where his relationship went with the nurse.
Yeah, but then the problem is...
They didn't have one.
Exactly.
The way
all of
series
it,
1
remember.
leaves it off, it's supposed to be happy and the
Yeah,
end, because
it's all
you
about
don't
the
need to
ending.
know what happens next. But obviously they come back with series 2, they can't just have, oh, he's happily with this woman,
Yeah,
etc.,
within Chappie
etc.
and Chappie and Fun.
Yeah, like, what's actually going to happen? And they've now confirmed series 3 is coming in the near future. So what are they going to do with that?
I think now that they've done a season 2, it almost goes back to what you were saying before, and now it needs a season 3 because now they've thrown the original conclusion out.
Yeah, it does.
Needs a new conclusion. So
That's a
season
very
3 is
good point.
almost needed now.
Yeah, it's needed to tie up everything because they've prolonged it too much. And now it needs a conclusion.
I think we should start doing this for every single guest who comes on. Ben,
God.
is Pluto...
This isn't pre-discussed, Alistair,
Pluto
so
a planet?
Oh yeah, that's the big question.
Yeah, obviously.
Ooh.
Oh, controversial.
Ooh.
What would you say if a scientist said, no?
No, you.
What would you say if
those
Jonny
words of
Depp
wisdom.
said no?
Hold on,
Johnny?
If we bring Jonny Depp back into this once more, I'm going to kill him.
Pluto is not a planet.
That wasn't even... What?
It's just
Not impressed.
you.
That wasn't meant to be Johnny Depp.
As for Johnny Depp, we don't want you.
Yo
we'll
ho,
replace
me
him
hearties, yo ho.
Can we have Edward Scissorhand?
What does he sound like?
You just...
Snip,
What?
snip.
No, he's famously for being quiet.
Oh.
Pick better.
Ooh. Anyway, right, this has been quite a funny episode, actually.
Well, funny to us, the audience are probably gone. So, hello, the one person still watching.
Thanks,
You've
Mum.
entered an exclusive club.
Anyway, right.
Hashtag Pluto is a planet. Bye.
Yeah, Pluto is a planet. Subscribe, like, comment. Ben is an epic dude. His links to something he doesn't have will be in the description. So that's actually the end now, thank God. I hope you've managed to endure this podcast. Yeah, everyone, do you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Remember to
No.
comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Goodbye.